Woo Ho-young has always had a dream since childhood. He wanted to become a great football player, just like his idol, but all he could become was a miserable loser. When RMC was young, he told his father about his dream, and he supported him, saying that he had special talent. The young Ho-young believed his words when they were just lip service and enrolled in a football club with great enthusiasm. However, he quickly learned that he was a loser without any talent, and his coach sent him to practice with kids significantly younger than him. That day, Ho-young felt like the wall from the Attack on Titan was standing in between him and his dreams. He could not bear that and quit the football academy. He was too sad about it, and his father comforted him by saying that everyone manifests their talents in due time. He told him that he could be a late bloomer, so he just needs to keep practicing. Ho-young could not believe his words a second time, and he gave up football for good. Now, he is a loser with a pitiful job. One day, he goes to celebrate his best friend getting a contract from a professional football club. Compared to him, Ho-young's job is a part-time clerk in a convenience store. He keeps chugging down his jealousy with beer and thinks that if he had not given up back then, maybe he would have improved and become a professional football player too. He tells this to his friend, who makes fun of him and says that if Ho-young were a professional footballer, he would have won the Ballon d'Or a few times by now. He tells him that it is too late to regret now, and Ho-young recalls the many opportunities he missed because he was too afraid to take them after his previous loss. He curses himself and thinks that he is an idiot. Ho-young wants another chance at life so that he can go back and pursue his dream, no matter what. As he is cursing himself, his friend asks him if he will join his other friends for a game of four-a-side football. Ho-young thinks this is his chance to reconnect with the game, and he happily goes with him. They go to the boys who are waiting for them, and Ho-young notices an arrogant genius called Yoon Young-ho, who doesn't even look at him. He was a promising professional football player but had to retire early because of a serious injury. Ho-young had a bad relationship with Yoon-ho ever since they were young, and it seems like the latter was still holding on to that grudge. Our hero is on the same level of pettiness as him and doesn't make an effort to talk to him. It had been raining for quite some time, but then it started to get intense, and the boys decided to have a quick game outdoors because the indoor stadium was packed. The game starts, and Ho-young rushes ahead with the ball because, when he used to play, he was a forward. That time, he considered himself to have above-average physique and technical skills, and he wants to prove that he has not lost them even now. He is about to shoot the ball into the goalpost when Yoon-ho steals it from him. Ho-young knows he cannot compare to a pro, but then Yoon-ho gives him an arrogant smirk, firing him up. Ho-young always wanted a challenge like this, or he played high-intensity football. He wants to steal the ball from Yoon-ho to defeat him, but finds that he can't do anything. Yoon-ho kicks the ball directly at him to taunt him further, and Ho-young gets physical before other players come and take him away. He goes to fetch the ball from the sidelines when, suddenly, lightning strikes him. Let's just say that 4 Pikacha'd the crap out of Ho-young, and he realizes that his life is about to end. Ho-young is frustrated because not only did he fail to achieve anything in his life, he was struck by thunder despite the odds. As he loses his life, Ho-young screams at God to give him his life back, when suddenly he finds himself in a strange space. He wonders where he is when he hears a scary laughter and turns back to see that someone had heard his plea, but it was not God but rather the devil. The Crobat hybrid demon makes its appearance before Ho-young, who wets his pants but still acts confident. He asks the demon if he is a devil, and he replies that he is the demon of greed, known as Mammon, the brain-eater in human culture. The demon asks Ho-young if he would like to make a deal with him, and he hesitates as he waits for him to tell him more. Ho-young asks the demon what kind of deal they are talking about, and the demon presents him with 2 options. He tells Ho-young that he can trade 2 things with him, the first is time, and the second is a special ability. The demon elaborates, saying that if Ho-young chooses time, he will regress to the past anywhere between 10 and 23 years. Ho-young likes the sound of it, but then the demon tells him that there is no free lunch and he must pay the price for this service. He pokes Ho-young's chest, telling him that his lifespan will be reduced by as many years as he goes back in time. If I were him, I would gladly take it. It is a win-win for me. He says that if he goes back 23 years, he will lose 23 years from his total lifespan, but no one knows how long he will live. Ho-young laughs, saying that there is no problem with that. He thinks that, in the best-case scenario, he might have a lifespan of 100 years and will live a long enough life. Even if he doesn't live that long, he will be satisfied. Then, he moves on to the second item. The demon tells Ho-young that he can also choose to get his ability, the power to obtain what he desires. Ho-young asks him to explain, and the demon says that it is the power to turn others' talents into his own. Ho-young finds it hard to believe but takes up the offer anyway. On top of that, the demon doesn't even ask for a price for his ability, and Ho Young asks if he is doing this as some sort of underworld community service. The demon asks him to simply say how many years he wants to go back in the past, and Ho Young knows what age he wants to regress to. As he opens his eyes, he finds that he is a 10-year-old boy again, and the news about his favorite footballer is being reported on TV. He checks that his body is truly like a child and learns that he is back exactly 14 years ago, and he is in the 3rd grade of elementary school right now. He fist bumps the air, thinking that now he can obtain anything he wants. Just then, he sees his parents, who are looking much younger. Soon they have dinner, and Ho Young's dad asks him the same question about his dream. Ho Young says that he wants to be a footballer, but when his dad asks him if he wants to be like his idol, Jae-sung, he replies that he wants to be even more amazing. He grins brightly as he declares that he dreams to be the best footballer in the world, and his parents laugh as they cheer him on. Ho Young realizes that since he is 10 years old now, he has all the time in the world until bedtime. He asks his dad where his hypernova is. Hypernova was the name of the ball used in the 2002 Korea-Japan World Cup, and just looking at it makes Ho Young's heart pound. He goes outside and dribbles in the empty park and realizes that childhood was really the best part of his life. This guy is living the dream all of us have. Then, Ho Young decides to check out if the powers he got from the demon really work. He calls them forth, and a system window appears before him that tells him that he possesses no talent right now. Ho Young is disappointed because the system window proves that he was always a loser without any skills of his own. He realizes that, at this rate, he won't even qualify to be a ball boy. Ho Young keeps practicing by himself so that he can adapt to his younger body, and he thinks that it will be nice if he can get someone to compare himself with. He only has to say that Young Ho calls his name from behind, asking him why he was molesting the football when he couldn't play. Ho Young picks up a fight with his sworn enemy immediately, who tries to rile him up. However, instead of punching him in the face like usual, Ho Young decides to observe his skills carefully. He wonders if he can use his power to see Young Ho's skills, and suddenly, the system window opens in front of him again. It says that Young Ho has 2 talents, a football prodigy and a powerful mid-range shot. To copy his talent, Ho Young has to achieve the condition of playing football with him for 60 minutes. Ho Young is elated to see the system window. He thinks that with the ability given to him by the demon Mammon, he can see not only his talents but those of others too. I don't think being able to see his talents even makes a difference right now because he doesn't have any talent. Then, Ho Young realizes that Young Ho was not as good as he always thought him to be, and his talent was only B rank. He looks at the conditions to activate the demon's powers, and even though he doesn't know what will happen if he uses them, he decides to give them a try. He asks Young Ho to play football with him, and he accepts the offer. They play together, and Young Ho says that he will have more fun if he plays with a tree because Ho Young is utterly useless. However, Ho Young has achieved his goal now after playing with him for 60 minutes. The system asks him to choose one of the 2 talents, and Ho Young chooses the B-rank talent football prodigy. As soon as he picks it up, the demon's magic starts working, and the skill is copied to his status window. Ho Young is super happy that now he is equal to Young Ho. He knows that how much he can grow depends on his efforts, but at least he has confidence now. I don't think how much he can grow depends on his efforts, it depends on the talents he steals. Then, Ho Young looks at Young Ho and finds that copying a talent doesn't mean it will disappear from the original person. Young Ho still has his talent, and Ho Young sees the system telling him that he needs to play football with him for 50 minutes to copy his next talent because it was only C rank. Young Ho begins to leave, but Ho Young asks him to play a bit more. He says that he doesn't want to play with someone as bad as him, but Ho Young is able to bribe him with snacks. He is happy that Young Ho is still a kid right now. They play again, and after 50 minutes, Ho Young is exhausted, but he can now copy Young Ho's second skill too. Young Ho remarks that he has gotten considerably better just in this practice session, and Ho Young smiles to himself and thanks him for it. He is really happy and wants to buy him some good quality snacks, but then Young Ho asks him if his mom won't scold him for buying costly snacks because his family is poor. Ho Young gets irritated on hearing this and recalls that Young Ho always had a nasty personality. He pretends to punch him, but he shows him the money he has before running away, saying that he doesn't need to bother with him now. Young Ho is furious, but Ho Young leaves without caring for him. As he goes home, he realizes that just copying one person's skill is not enough. He needs hard work and luck to make the talents he stole bloom. He remembers a YouTube video of a 5-year-old boy playing football, and Manchester United scouted the talented kid. However, there are no smartphones in his era, and Ho Young has to take another approach to become famous and get more opportunities. He thinks that if he can appear on TV, he can get a chance to play with more talented players. He also has the perfect opportunity for this in the form of a youth development program that takes place during big international tournaments. Ho Young knows that 10 kids from the program went pro, and one of them was Kong Cheol, who was scouted by a big club. Ho Young thinks that if he goes to the program, it will be his golden ticket to guaranteed success. He soon tells his parents that he wants to be on the Shoot Dory program, the first of its kind youth development program. His parents have not heard about it yet because it was not famous yet, but Ho Young knows that it was the canon event that shaped the future of Korean football. Ho Young's dad reads the news article about it that says that Shoot Dory is a program to train kids under 10 years of age under celebrity coaches to pick out talented players. The auditions are going to take place soon, and Ho Young holds his parents' hands as he tells them that he wants to do this. They are incredibly supportive and say that if he wants to do this, they will back him up. I wish my parents were more like them. Soon, time passes, and the day of the audition comes, and Ho Young goes to the training facility where the auditions are taking place. The judges for the audition are Kim Jong-kook, who is a singer and part-time footballer, and I feel like I have heard that name somewhere. The other two judges are from the show's production team. The producer doesn't really care about picking kids with skills and thinks that they should choose those who can grab the attention of their viewers. They audition a lot of kids and pick those who have some skill and can attract the viewers with their personality or cuteness. The producer thinks they have enough candidates for the program now, and then Ho Young's turn comes. The producer can see that he is average in all aspects, from his height to his looks and resume. The only thing he has more than others is confidence, and the judges ask him to show them what he has. Ho Young shows them how well he can juggle the ball, and all the judges are mesmerized by his performance. The producer thinks he is definitely star material, not knowing that Ho Young trained this routine for the entire month to get this good at it. With the brain of a 24-year-old man and the talent he copied from Young Ho, he was able to wow the judges, who thought he was a genius. The coach, Young Kook, wants to test Ho Young some more. He says that now they will play a one-on-one match, where he will be defending and Ho Young has to score a goal against him. Ho Young is confident that he can do that because he thinks he just needs to score one goal. However, Young Kook doesn't really expect him to score, and he has no plans to disqualify Ho Young even if he cannot score. He just wants some shots that will look good on the promo for their program. As Ho Young dribbles the ball towards him, Young Kook decides he will go easy on him, but then suddenly, Ho Young whizzes past him and scores a goal before he can process anything. Young Kook is impressed that Ho Young is good at more than just juggling, so he asks him to try it one more time when he is being serious. He is genuinely curious about the boy's skills now and wants to test if he really is a genius or not. Ho Young takes the ball to Young Kook, but he realizes he can't get past him, so he backs away and uses his powerful mid-range shot to score from a distance. The coach realizes that there is no need to test anything else because Ho Young has proved that he is really good at football. Ho Young also realizes that the production team's response was good, and that means he has secured a spot on the program. He thinks that his hard work showed its efforts, and if he can keep this performance even on the show, he will surely become a star quickly. He is lost in his dreams about getting picked by famous clubs, just like Kong Cheol, who is the most famous footballer produced by the Shoot Dory program. Ho Young also wants to be like him and join Barcelona or Real Madrid, and as he thinks about it, Young Kook comes to him. He gives Ho Young a fist bump as he tells him that he will be the coach on the program. Just then, Ho Young's parents come there, and they greet Young Kook. They feel they have seen him somewhere, and Ho Young tells them that he is a famous singer. I don't mean to be racist, but don't all Korean people look exactly the same? Ho Young's dad immediately hits off with Young Kook, who then returns to the production team after wishing the boy the best of luck. However, as he goes, Ho Young sees the status window that displays his skills and tells him he can copy one of them if he exercises with him for 60 minutes. However, Young Kook's talents are bodybuilding and singing and have nothing to do with football. Ho Young is confused, but he still wants to do something and approaches him, asking him to recommend him some protein supplements. Those words are enough to bait any bodybuilder in the world, and Young Kook starts telling Ho Young about the supplements he uses. Ho Young takes the conversation further and asks him to teach him some good exercises while they are at it, and the man is happy to do that. I must say that RMC knows how to get what he wants. They talk about protein supplements, exercise, and playing football, and soon, the hour required for Ho Young to copy Young Kook's talent is over. He chooses to see rank talent sculpted muscles because they could help him with his physique. Ho Young can already feel his muscles growing stronger, like I felt after the first day at the gym. Ho Young's dad approaches Young Kook and asks him how he can thank him for taking out time to help his son, and he replies that he enjoyed playing with him too. 2 weeks later, Ho Young's dad gets a call informing him that his son has been selected for Shoot Dory. He is elated and lifts Ho Young up and swings him around to congratulate him. Ho Young initially feels dizzy, but then he also gets very happy upon learning that he has been chosen. He remembers the date of September 16, 2002, when his name was on the list of Shoot Dory participants. His parents are very happy because, at this rate, their son was going to be on TV and become a big star. Ho Young also feels warm inside because this was the first feat he has achieved after coming back in time. He doesn't care about getting famous or getting brands to cast him in advertisements. He only wants to showcase his skills and become the best football player in the world. He holds his football and dreams of the future, where he will play for major clubs all around the world, and to achieve the dream, he has to work even harder. Ho Young runs outside to play football because he knows that even with his cheating abilities, he has a long way to go. He might have stolen talent, but he still lacks the basic skills that set him back. The first thing he practices is juggling because he feels that he lacks the ability to use it in his game. He keeps on practicing day after day and notices that he is really improving. While he practices juggling in the morning, in the afternoon, Ho Young goes to the park to improve his stamina. Soon, the program Shoot Dory starts, and Ho Young has butterflies in his stomach as the first match evaluation is about to begin. Their match is against the best junior football academy in Korea, and the producer asks their coach to have his team go all out against the Shoot Dory team. He doesn't care if they lose the match by 20 goals, he just wants to make the kids cry so that the audience will also be sentimental. What a jerk! He thinks that as the kids improve and become better as players and as a team, the viewers will be amazed by their progress, and the show will be hit. However, he has some hopes for Ho Young, whose promotional video was a super hit. He thinks that even though it is unlikely, one goal from Ho Young could do wonders for their viewership. He feels that his talent will not be enough to turn the tables on the best football club in Korea. Soon, the game starts between the two teams, and the Shoot Dory team wins the toss and starts the game. Ho Young thinks that even though their opponents are considered the best children's football team in Korea, no one is expecting anything much from this game. He feels that most people just want the kids on both teams to look cute while playing, and that is his chance to shine. Ho Young shoots the ball with his full power, and it whizzes past two defenders and the goalkeeper as it hits the nets. Everyone is shocked to see that Ho Young scored a sensational goal from the midfield right after the kickoff. Then, Ho Young runs towards the camera for the biggest heist in the history of sports. He knows that goal celebration should be iconic for a player to be remembered, and that is why he steals Ronaldo's shoe even before he has invented it. He was only stealing talents, but now he is stealing even celebrations. Meanwhile, the players and coach of the opposite team are shocked because Ho Young's level was far beyond what they had expected. Their coach, Sang-woon, thinks that they were fed a lie when the producer said the kids were not that good at football. He was a national-level player himself, so he knows that Ho Young's goal was truly exceptional. He can only think that he got his skills and power from innate talent. The coach is close enough. He thinks that Ho Young's shooting technique is perfect, which is rare for kids his age, and he feels he has great potential. As the game continues, the prestigious football academy takes the lead and wins the game by a great margin despite Ho Young's initial attack. He is also quite tired after the game, even though it was played only in a mini stadium. His teammates aren't as good as he thought they would be, and while some are happy about their mediocre contributions, some are crying because they got hurt. Ho Young thinks they are disappointing, but it doesn't matter because they were here to train. He thinks that if he had his adult body, he could have smoked all the opponents alone, but he cannot win against all of them with his current abilities. The game nears its end, and Ho Young steals the ball from his opponent and rushes to the goalpost. He is surrounded by all the enemy players because their coach thought that no matter how talented Ho Young is, he wouldn't be able to break free from this strategy. However, the dribbling and juggling practice Ho Young did over the past few months comes into play, and he moves past the opponents at lightning speed and scores another goal. He does the stolen celebration again, and the commentators go crazy as he just scored his fifth goal. They call him a crane amongst chickens, but Ho Young knows that he is so good only because his mind is that of an adult. He thinks that his body is like a computer with super advanced software, so he can't be beaten by other players his age. Soon, the match ends, and the prestigious Cha Bum Club wins 14 goals to 5. Ho Young is exhausted, and even though his team lost, he has no regrets because he got to show off his skills. He lays on the ground, thinking that this should be enough to make him a star. He is right, and the commentator says that regardless of which team won the match, the MVP is Ho Young because he scored 5 goals alone. The presenter interviews him and asks him how he is feeling. Ho Young replies that he is still hungry, which is yet again something he stole from a famous football personality. After the interview, he runs to hug his mom, who asks him what he would like to eat for dinner to celebrate his performance. Ho Young says he wants to eat chicken, and then Sang-woon, the coach of the other team, approaches them. He introduces himself before remarking that Ho Young's football skills are really impressive, and his game gave him goosebumps. Sang-woon sits down for a chat, then comes straight to the point and tells Ho Young's mom that he wants to teach her son. She is shocked and asks if he really has so much talent, and Sang-woon replies that in their academy, it takes about 3 months to assess a child's talent with football. However, just by seeing him in one game, he can conclude that Ho Young is close to a genius. Sang-woon then says that he still wants to nurture Ho Young's talent, even if it is considered unethical. He believes that the boy is in another football academy right now and wants to talk with the coach there before bringing him to his academy. However, when Ho Young's mom says that he never attended a football academy, Sang-woon is aghast. He wants to know who taught Ho Young football and learns that he has never had formal training and has only played with his dad and friends. Sang-woon is speechless for a while and then asks the woman if she wants to make her son a pro. She believes that it will be a good thing for Ho Young, and he also wants to become a footballer. She wants to know about the academy fees, and Sang-woon says that they are different for different category classes, but Ho Young will directly go to the S class. Only those with the talent and skill to prove it could join the S class, and the monthly fees for joining it were roughly $1,000,000. Ho Young's mom thinks that the fees are a bit high, but it is understandable since the football academy is also prestigious. She wants her son's talent to be polished by experts, and for that, she does not hesitate to think about using her savings. However, Ho Young speaks up before her and asks Sang-woon if he can pay the fees later. He laughs as he tells the coach that when he becomes a famous football player, he will pay the fees 100-fold. His mom is stunned at his bold statement, but Sang-woon says that this attitude is a wonderful thing to have for footballers. He accepts his offer and welcomes him to his academy. Sang-woon tells Ho Young's mom that their academy has a scholarship system for special talents, and he will strongly recommend Ho Young for it. He also promises to seek out professional football teams and train abroad if Ho Young shows considerable growth. He asks Ho Young if he is happy with that, and he is more than just happy. He thinks that both parties get what they want from this arrangement. For the academy, it will be great to have a student like him, and they will get some publicity because of his performance on TV. And since he doesn't have to worry about the money, he will focus only on learning football professionally. He boasts to Sang-woon and thanks him for taking him in, and the coach smiles at him. As Ho Young and his mom return home, he looks at the talent of a boy from the prestigious Chabum Academy and finds that he had C+ grade football prodigy talent, and his system tells him that he can't copy it because he has a higher ranked talent. Ho Young thanks Young Ho for that, because despite his arrogance, he was still a talented player. Sang-woon also had the talent to identify talented players, but Ho Young does not need that because he has the system. He thinks that he will certainly meet someone with exceptional talent in the academy and steal it. Soon, they reach home, and Ho Young's dad throws a tantrum because he missed meeting Sang-woon, who was one of his favorite players. He then says that he is very happy and proud of his son, and he orders the best pizza from Domino's to celebrate the day. Ho Young drools as the pizza comes and recalls that back in the day, they rarely ate out. He was aware of his family's financial condition when he was young, so he never demanded that they buy his pizza, even though he craved it a lot. However, this time, he does not plan to worry about being broke because he will become famous and earn a lot of money for them. Ho Young relishes the pizza and thanks his parents for the treat. About a week later, the first episode of Shoot Dory is aired on TV, and it attracts many viewers. Soon after that, Sang-woon calls Ho Young's home and tells his dad that he has been selected for the scholarship class. While they are happy about it, his mom comes running with even bigger news. She says that Ho Young has a fan cafe now, and Ho Young and his dad are aghast. They search for the cafe's address online and find that it already has 200 members. Ho Young is surprised, but as he reads the comments, he finds that not all of them are positive. He is not new to the terrors of cyber trolling, but he doesn't care because he knows how passionate Korea was about football around this period of time. The year 2002 was the golden year for Korean football, but after that, it started to decline, and people hoped for the birth of a new hero. Now that Ho Young is in the spotlight, he also receives some criticism, but it still feels good. However, his dad doesn't take the trolls and fake news so well. As he reads comments about Ho Young being the son of a rich family that was sponsoring the program to give him the spotlight, he becomes furious. His wife calms him down, asking him not to pay any attention to jealous haters. They turn to Ho Young, who says that he actually likes baseless rumors like this too, because that means people are jealous of him. Even then, there are some nasty trolls, and he wants to shut them up soon enough. The next day, he goes to the Cha-Bum Academy, where he finds many kids with C-rank talents. Ho Young licks his lips as he thinks that playing with them will allow him to steal their talents too, and he is eager to get a fourth talent now. As Ho Young plays with other students, his mom shows his little brother his game. Wait, where did that little brother come from? Just then, a woman comes to talk to her because she recognizes her as Ho Young's mom from Shoot Dory. She gets frank with her, almost too frank, honestly. She wants to know what football club Ho Young has been going to and what his father does for a living. Even as Ho Young's mom tells her that they are just common people, the woman doesn't believe her and keeps pressing her for details. Then, she asks her about the tuition fee here, and Ho Young's mom proudly tells her that her son is special, so he gets a scholarship. The woman is flustered, but she has no answer when Ho Young's mom says that her son has a special talent. She thinks that it is definitely a great thing to have a rich husband, but raising good kids with limited means is even better. Meanwhile, Sang-woon is impressed by Ho Young's growth. In just 10 days, he has become much more skilled than before. However, he knows that such unbalanced growth is not always good. When talented players hit a growth plateau, they sometimes lose all hope and give up on their dreams. He wants to do something to keep the boy on the right track. However, Ho Young has grown this much only through his hard work and has not stolen any talents yet. He was admitted only to the A class, where he learned the basics about ball control, dribbling, and passing from the coaches. He also learned about positioning and stretching, as well as collisions with opponents. Sang-woon also taught him to keep moving after passing, even if he doesn't know where to go. He told him that doing that would improve his off-the-ball tactics and that he would be ready whenever the ball came to him. He told him that this skill was especially important for him as he aims to become a striker. Ho Young is thankful for all these lessons. When he was young, he thought that he only needed to be good at dribbling and shooting to become a good player, but the more he learned about the game, the more he realized how wrong he was then. But there is another benefit to playing with this class other than the instructions. It is time to copy his skills with his demonic powers. Ho Young first targets a C-rank free kick talent and fulfills the conditions to obtain it by defeating the player in a shootout competition. Even though the skill is rank C right now, he believes that he can improve its level just with practice alone. However, that is the extent of the talents he can find in the A class, which was not as good as he expected. He wants to go with the S class team, but they were training at a closed facility, and he can't get there so easily. He doesn't think that the talents of the coaches aren't too helpful either, and he knows that finding an active professional player to play with him is nearly impossible. Just then, he spots Sang-woon talking to someone, and Ho Young immediately recognizes that man is Chad, a genius footballer. Is that the power of plot armor? Chad is not only a great footballer, he is also the son of Cha-Bum, the legendary Korean striker and the founder of this academy. Ho Young wonders why an internationally acclaimed athlete like him is here and then realizes that Chad is more handsome in real life than he appears on TV. I can say I am just the opposite, but I haven't been on TV either. He wonders why he is here, and he decides to observe him. As he overhears Chad and Sang-woon talking, he remembers that around this time, Chad got an offer from a European club, and he was going to make his club debut there. Ho Young thinks that this is a great opportunity that he cannot miss. He knows that he might risk not getting anything but scorn, but he does not want to pass it up. He uses his system to find out about Chad's talents and finds that he has 3 outstanding talents. The lowest one is B+ ranked physique, the second one is ranked quick passing, and the best of them all is U ranked sprinting speed. However, if Ho Young wants to copy any of those skills, he needs to train or play with Chad for 500 minutes. But first, he has a question, and so do I. What does you mean? He guesses that it must be Chad's unique talent, and now he wants to acquire it at all costs. Meanwhile, Sang-woon and Chad talk about how his schedule has been busy lately and that he is quite tired. Just then, Ho Young approaches them, saying that he has something to give to Chad. Chad is shocked that the boy could recognize him even though he was wearing a cap. What does he think this is? A Marvel movie. Ho Young gives him an energy tonic good for relieving fatigue, and Chad laughs at his innocence. Ho Young is happy that he made a good first impression, and even Sang-woon is impressed. He tells Chad to remember the boy who is a promising player of the new generation. Chad believes the coach's word and asks Ho Young if he would like to play with him. That is what he came here for, and he eagerly accepts the chance. They play together, and Ho Young gets exhausted soon. Chad says that he reminds him of his student named Young. Ho Young remembers that name because Young was going to be an elite player in the future. Now, he thinks that Chad is not only a great player but also a great teacher. Soon, they return indoors, and Sangwon asks Chad if he didn't have an errand to run for his father. He replies that his father isn't home right now, so he will do it later, and then asks if he has seen Ho-yeon play. Sangwon replies that Coach Cha-bum has not seen him yet, but he plans to do so next time. This concludes the latest chapter, and we will be continuing it from here in the next episode.